My bad. I almost burned down my house, but we're good. So that's probably the one thing I look at.
It's that hot. It's that hot.
Oh, no. I just did something stupid and left crap on the stove when I shouldn't have, and I started seeing the smoke. So, but we're good. We're good. No issues. Problem solved. Welcome to another episode of Fit the Description, a Black Men's podcast where various Black men come together to talk about life, society, entertainment, culture, news, and whatever else we want to talk about from various Black men's perspectives. I'm your host, G, and today we got Norris.
My bad. It's loud out here. I'm here.
And we have James.
No, you don't.
With that being said, make sure on your way in to make sure to like, subscribe, follow. Also, make sure to check out the Clips channel, Fit the Description podcast, over there on YouTube, where we post various different clips from the podcast. Make sure to check us out on various different podcast platforms, just to name a few: iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music. So wherever podcast is streaming, we're pretty much are going to be at. So make sure to check us out there. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with the podcast. So I was looking at the time frame, and it looks like that this podcast will be coming out. Well, the second half of it will be coming out for Christmas. So before I get into some of the stuff I want to talk about today, I thought I'd ask, man, you guys got any holiday plans? You know, any ideas, anything you're gonna do for the holidays, just to get some holiday cheer up in here?
Personally, I'm gonna be eating. I'm trying to eat.
What about you, James? You got anything going on for the holidays?
I'm gonna sell drugs.
Yeah. What's the next question? There's a lot of stuff going on. So
I want to know, especially with what's happening here, how do you see? I know it's vague, but how do you see the family and the family structure as it is today?
So first we have to be accepting of what's what. What do I mean? Look, people gonna be people at the end of the day, but does that take away somebody being who they are to you in the sense of their title? So we give people titles and stuff. I don't like, pay attention too much to those, but whoever you're born into to be your mother or your father, whatever the title is, that title doesn't necessarily really get taken away. And it dang sure if it does get taken away, it doesn't get taken away easily. So we can't be, how can I say, we can't be hung up on titles, but we need to get hung up on more so is making sure that if we have that type of title, that we carry ourselves accordingly. Like, I don't care if you're just a cousin or whatever, you still look out for your other cousin. It ain't no, well, I'm not cool with them because they sit up there and said, I got a booger in my face. Stop getting butthurt over the smallest of things and understand there's a bigger picture. We, in general, one of the things that I've been kind of harping on lately is we've been missing our father figures, or dads, as I would call it, in our community for the longest. They've been ripped, whether they've been incarcerated or killed off or talked bad about in general. It's like everybody's gonna have their little things that they go through in life. And instead of helping things become better, we tend to gravitate towards tearing people down. And that's not it. That's not the move. Now, you can correct people if they're coming wrong, don't get me wrong, but we should be moving in a sense of unity, as well as everybody got their dysfunctions within their family. Like, be real. This holiday season right now, how many people done had different dysfunctions and been called names and some other stuff over whatever reason?
Yeah, that's true.
We got to fix that, though, because we the only ones that know us. Stop looking for somebody else to fix it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff, though, but it's real basic. It's just, that's one of our essential problems. And we get hung up on dumb stuff, like the dumbest of things. And I go, oh, that's why we keep hitting our heads. Oh, that's why we don't get it. But then when we cry and we lash out, we mention certain things. I've heard this phrase today. I was on the bus. I heard this phrase today. You ain't my daddy. I was like, what?
Yep.
It wasn't talking to me, but still, I was like, oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. But then I also put in there, if I was the person, because I'm a smart aleck, low key. There's something that might be missing there. It's like there's a lot of stuff right there. So to unpack that is something that we got to do as a people, and it ain't just gonna be one person. We do have to have our individual, working upon ourselves and whatnot. Don't get me wrong with that. That's for sure we got to do because it's healthy. But at the same time, if we gonna sit up there and talk about family and the structuring of it, how are we gonna break this thing that people call generational curse? And we see it sitting in front of us, but we don't do nothing about it. We just keep doing the same old, same old. So I'm gonna leave it right there.
When it comes to family and family structure, I mean, there's not really much I could say. I think I kind of agree with you. If we want to talk about the culture, we're just saying within the culture. I think it starts with us, but I don't know with how like things are and how things are changing, even how things are like being defined anymore. Are you? I just think going forward, especially since I think our morals are changing, I think it's going to be a lot more harder to kind of keep the family structure together, especially when there's really good arguments today of it's even worth staying within that structure and that unit.
Well, I treat it like it is. Everything's relations.
Everything's what?
Whether they are blood tied to you. Relations.
Oh, relations.
Yeah. Whether they're blood tied to you or not, what really matters is, are they trying?
What do you mean? Are they trying?
You can't do nothing with no trying. Are they trying realistically? Are they trying to be a part of your life in the sense of not looking to get something out of it, in the sense of actually just being there or around and helping and supporting and doing things that family members actually do? Like, just like friends, it's the same stuff. All this the same stuff. But we have hangups about certain things, or such and such didn't show up for me. And yeah, call them out on their stuff when they got the invite and they said they was gonna come, they didn't come. Yeah, you call that out for sure. But at the same time, are you gonna hold that over their head forever and be like, you done messed up with me forever because it is?
Do you hold over the head forever? I'll probably say, I mean, again, I just say time heals all wounds, but I don't think that's more true on the men's side of things. Because I've pretty much seen different relationships that tend to hold things from the past over the women. I mean, over the men.
And that's a part of the problem. That type of stuff is the problem. Addressing the problem is going to be a problem too, because nobody likes to be addressed when they're the problem. When anybody being identified the problem, they get uncomfortable real fast. Trust me.
Yeah.
And that's just a part of, I don't know. I don't call that human nature. That's a little bit something else. But we have to, if we're being called out on something, listen. Stop talking. Listen. It might not be true. We don't even know. Listen to what's being said and then evaluate it for yourself, but don't sit up there and go to a space where you think that you all the way right or that you all the way wrong. Make adjustments. Because it's like, there's going to be some truth up in there that you ain't going to like, but just because you don't like something don't make it not true.
It sounds like to me when you say relationships, to keep a relationship, it takes a lot of work. It's not just a simple thing. Like, you can't always have it your way.
Sure is. Every day. Now, you might not even be able to talk every day like that sometimes. It depends on, circumstances and stuff.
Yeah.
But still, nonetheless, if you know that person means something to you, you're not going to talk bad about them to somebody else, unless that's how you move. And then you got to correct. That's a behavioral issue that we got to correct within the community.
So let me ask this because, maybe we could have some solutions on this one. And like I said, let's just start with, keeping relationships together and the work that puts in, because there's a lot of people out there just want to talk about, oh, why you shouldn't be, or why it is. And I find sometimes listening and talking to people that some people don't really understand what it takes when you get into a relationship. So I was wondering if you could put some honesty out there. What is the realistic of what it means to really be in a relationship?
Being in a relationship, it ain't no 50-50.
Whoa, that's a big statement.
It's not a big statement, that's real. Ain't no 50-50. Please. Sometimes it's gonna be like this, sometimes it's gonna be like that. That's just gonna fluctuate. It's kind of like, think about life in general. Sometimes you might have a job, sometimes you might not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stuff happens. In that stuff happening, because the person that you are with in a relationship, does that mean that you just go, well, you done lost your job, F you, move on? Because then now it's all about the money, ain't it?
But
if you done moved on just because, what?
That doesn't that come with the expectation almost being in a relationship? I mean,
nah. See, that's the thing. Monetary gain ain't squat at the end of the day. It's just supposed to get you material things. And so it is helpful for your livelihood, of course, eating wise and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, when you think about money, we got to start thinking about money differently, honestly. When we look at our music, the way we talk to each other, the way we handle each other with business, all this stuff, money-wise, we get hella disrespectful. Like, it don't matter how long you don't know such and such. All of a sudden, because money is involved, people get different. You see a side of people that can basically meant to destroy you. Now, all of a sudden, like, that ain't the homie no more. That ain't who that person, all that shit is out. And I go, ooh, why we do that? They say the phrase money root of all evil, but I go, it's our problem in the first place because that's what we believe in as a people. We believe in money. I go, instead of believing in money, why don't we believe in each other? It's real quiet.
I know. Yeah. No.
But
yeah, no.
This stuff is realistic of the way our perspective on things, it matters. Our perspective is our reality. Like, it don't even matter what's really happening in life. Our perspective is everything in life. Why? To each individual, the way we view life as the individual is exactly how we think of everything. And that's how we move.
But so this is the thing. I kind of want to go back to the money thing because I mean, especially when it pertains to relationships. I know, like you said, we should think differently about money. But I think one of the things I read a while, probably not, I think 2 years back, that they say one of the biggest predicator of the inner relationships is financial. So how are we supposed to, how is that supposed to change when it's being proven that it's such a big predicator on the health and the well-being of a relationship?
Because that's what our belief is. But that's not to every couple or every relationship. So that's the first and foremost thing that has to be.
I would never say it's for every relationship, but it seems like it's a large majority, at least.
And it's a large majority because that's what we do. These are called social norms for a reason. We are making it normal. People, we're making it normal. This is our programming. We're programming each other to sit up there and say, if you ain't getting about this amount of money, this is what it is. We can't be together. We can't do this. We can't do that. Why? Because you don't got enough money. Get your money up. Instead of saying something like, yo, do you need help to get some type of job? What do you like to do? Let's work on that. Do you need to go to school for this? Not necessarily. Most people don't be knowing certain stuff. But instead of helping each other to get to where the real goals are, we go, if you ain't got it, I don't want to be with you. How'd that work? You was born into this world with nothing anyways. What you talking about?
I mean, I don't know. Like the way I look at money, for me personally, I always look at it as a tool, but it never really kind of defined me or the friendships I keep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's just never really been like a
Yeah.
big thing for me. But I also will sit there and say though, like, I mean, well, I'll just put it like this: there's only really two ways to be free. It's either you got to be willing to live dirt poor, or you got to be have so much money where you could basically pay your problems away.
So then I got a question for you now. I pose this question to anybody.
All right.
What is value? And where do you place it? Where do you place value?
I think it's different depending on the person.
Mm-hmm. I know it is.
I think it's also depends
But
on the
that the
context.
question, mm-hmm.
It depends on
I
the context.
purposely posed that question that way to think about what value and what's invaluable. There are certain relationships that you're going to have in life that are invaluable. You don't put a number to that.
Yeah.
And if you do put a number to that, there might be a little something wrong with you.
But
Because without that relationship, go ahead.
But I know on this podcast, we have definitely discussed, I'm probably going to say it wrong, but we have definitely talked about that. I know we definitely have said that once you move into a different market, you're never going to have the same friends. And there's just a point where you make so much money that your friends these people basically become employees. At least that's the logic of it.
Yeah, but at the same time, that was the whole point of the process. Think. Everybody got to think. If your friend is really your friend, they're never going to sell you out for certain stupid stuff. They're going to talk to you and confront you about certain stupid stuff, you know. But at the same time, there are certain invaluable things that happen in a relationship, period, point blank, that you can't put a price tag on. That's what half of these movies be showing us.
Yeah, but movies are movies. The one thing I've learned about this life, movies are movies. They don't always tell the actual. They always don't have a good representation.
They're telling stories on purpose, though. That's what I'm trying to say. They're telling stories. We tell stories too.
Yeah,
all of this storytelling is very important. That's what we actually listen to.
Yeah, but sometimes those stories, well, I mean, I know you just said, but sometimes those stories do have a purpose. And I don't know if the purpose is always the best thing.
It might not. Everything ain't for everybody. But at the same time, the story's being told on purpose. Because a piece of the story might be, it might not nothing to do with you at the time or anything. But later on down the line, you meet somebody else that you need to give a piece of information from that story to. I'm telling you, we be having some of the most dumbest hang-ups sometimes as human beings. And we'll mess up things because we're not trying to be human. We're trying to be robotic like. Robots try to make sense of everything like logic, right?
Yeah.
Some stuff don't got answers and the computer cannot answer that shit.
I mean, I don't know. It seems like
we
AI
can't even answer the stuff sometimes.
Well, again, I mean,
I don't know, man. AI might be wrong.
Yeah, when AI starts coming up, that might be challenging that theory. Hello?
Update on something like that. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think you went out for a sec. But yeah, go ahead.
I said we talked about that on a previous podcast as well. Now AI is a thing, but it's creating its own lane. Even with the copyright office event.
Wait, you're breaking up. Hello?
I said AI just needs its own lane. It's its own genre. Let it have it.
Okay.
Let it have its own lane. So then what problem are we talking about now? Because now we've identified it as being a thing. We're not saying it's nothing or whatever our opinion is or whatever, but it's also categorized in the sense of it's its own thing. Let it do what it does. The same thing we do with everything else.
I don't know. Okay. I mean, I don't want to go too far into the AI conversation, but I would say this much, that I get what you're saying about, let it be in its own lane. But the thing is that when AI or technology, actually starts coming up, I have a really big, funny feeling that it's going to. It's basically going to have such an impact that it's kind of hard to be like it's going to be in its own lane when it's going to affect so much of our society.
Mm-hmm. Everything affects our society, though. Like, remember when we first got affordable cell phones?
Oh,
Didn't that impact everything? I'm just saying. And we could just only dial the numbers. We didn't have social media and stuff at this point
yeah.
yet. It still influenced and impacted everybody.
Yeah, but I think things like AI and stuff, it's like that's one of the things where I'll sit there and say that the argument I used to kind of be like, I don't really think UBI is a thing that we should do, but as technology grows, as technology gets bigger and better, I'm starting to kind of accept more the argument for having UBI, because if jobs and careers start getting replaced more and more and more with machinery, I think there is an argument to be like, okay, maybe we might have to start funding people and their livelihood, because too much of this technology and these machines are going to have too much of. That's what I say. I think it will have just too much power to just be like it's in its own lane. I don't think it's just going to be its own lane. I think it's going to really, really change and transform society as a whole, which is like it's kind of like what social media is doing right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But I can't even go too much further because I gotta go in. But I definitely get what you're saying. I could easily like attack all of that in the sense of not really, attacking, but I should say better word. Challenge what you're saying for thought for everybody to think in certain contexts of that. But yeah, I gotta go.
oh yeah, trust me, we're definitely gonna do a podcast specifically on AI one of these days. But yeah, I'll let you go. You know what? Before you go, I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about on here. If you got the time, why don't you let us know a little bit more about Crump Society if you want to talk about it? I mean, I don't think we have. I think you always mention it, but I don't think you ever talked about it. So I'll just give you a chance to maybe let our listener know what Crump Society is all about.
Basically, y'all can go look at the mission statement and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's bridging the gaps between different generations, as well as focus is on the youth and making sure that they are, general term, successful. That could mean a lot of different things, couldn't it? So that's also pertaining to, there's a family oriented structure that's in place because Crump, as you should know, if you don't know, has always had somewhat of a family structure to it. So, meaning, how you have a dad, a mom, a sister, a brother, a cousin, a brother, down the line.
Yep.
In the sense of there's big homie, little homie thing that's happened and transpired in the past. So we're not changing that per se about the original Crump essence, but we are making adjustments because a lot of the youth from when Crump started is older now. And there's new Crump dancers now that are young, just like us older ones now have been before. So they're learning the techniques and stuff, but it's not just focusing on the dance. There's so much more to it. I don't want to be too much rambling here, but there's a lot that goes into it. So that's why if I get to start talking about it, there's certain points that I just gotta hit. But again, just to keep it basic and simple, it's about the kids. It's about the present. The kids is our present. All right? Also, some other stuff. There's some stuff coming up. There's with Crump Society, really. We giving back to the community. We are raising $5,000 for the kids. not just the kids in the crump dance community, kids in general that live in the area or whatever that come through. So yeah, we giving back.
Yeah, let me know next time you're free. Hopefully you're free this week or next week, and I'll try to make sure that we do another podcast. We'll continue this conversation.
Okay.
All right, man. All right, you have a good one, man. Thanks for coming on, Norris.
All right, no problem. Later.
Go on. So I'm not even going to do an intro at this point. If you don't know, well, you guys don't know, so I'll just explain to you what just happened. So basically, we were doing the podcast as a recording of this. I want to say now it's been about 2 days ago, but things happened. People had to go. People had some things to do, so we wound up having to cancel it. So you only got that first part. So what I decided to do was I hit about him. He said he will be free. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to go ahead and continue the rest of the podcast. And for now, it's probably just going to be me and Adam. People may come in. I highly doubt it. But we're going to go ahead and finish up this episode and, just talk about some of the topics I wanted to talk about. So yeah. So what's up, Adam? It's been a minute. Welcome back to the podcast.
What's up, man?
Yeah, man. So yeah, it's going to be a weird one because people are going to be listening to Norris and James, and now we skipped, and now we're listening just to you and me. So
Oh man, we got one more person in here though.
oh, who's that? Oh, is that your whatchamacallit?
It's the baby. He might make some side comments here and there.
Is that the one you were smelling?
Yes. The one that runs to me when I come inside the door. All right. Yes, you are. Yeah, so he's the co-host.
I'll take him as a co-host. He's better than his daddy.
Oh man, come on. He can't he what do you think he gets all his smarts from, huh?
From his mother?
Look, I'm not gonna say that that's not where it comes from because I don't want to be cursed out if she hears this video, but it's from me.
Oh man. Anyways, hold on. I thought I'd bring up the past real quick. Because I don't think you've seen the show yet, have you? Oh, here. Let me now. I just wanted to show you one quick. Plus, it's a good way. So, if you guys haven't seen, make sure to check out the Fit the Description Clips channel. I don't know. Can you see it? Can you see the screen?
I see the screen.
All right. Oh, wait a second.
You know, I would really like to be able to buy a house that's not going to cost me like multiple body parts. You know, having affordable housing. That's what I really want. I just like having to be there when I have there's other people who's like, why haven't you bought a house yet? It's like, well, not me personally, but just in general talking. It's like, when did you buy a house? Oh, so many years. Yeah. How much was it to buy a house back then for you? What was the down payment? How much is that house worth? Oh, so much. Yeah. So would you be willing to bring that house back down to the property value of what it was when you bought the house? No. No. Okay. All right.
All right, we're gonna stop that right there. Just thought I'd give you a little preview of one of your old shorts, since we all know that you're a demon at heart.
I'm not going to lie about that because we have more fun. Huh. That's probably why my kids are such terrorizers.
What is that they say? Depending on how bad you were, your kid is supposed to be 2 times worse than what you were.
Yeah, see, I wasn't bad growing up though, so it was more so when I became an adult that my demon side came out.
And there you go. And now you're
So
having to pay for it.
but that means that this should be happening later on in life, not
Nope.
this early in life.
Nope, that's not what it means. It could happen throughout your entire life. So just remember, as like no matter, just think about how bad you were, and just times that by 2.
Oh no, I thought you times it by like 4.
No, it's 2. No,
That should be good.
we'll see. We'll see. If I hear they crash a car, I'm gonna laugh.
Oh no, that's my brother. That's what his kids should be doing.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get to some topics. A Florida woman is facing multiple charges after allegedly attempting to burn down the childhood home of MLK Jr., according to local law enforcement. So I won't say her name. I mean, you guys can read on the screen or just read the article yourself. The woman, who is 26, is charged with second-degree attempted arson and interference with government property. The Atlanta Police Department wrote in a press release published Thursday. She was reportedly stopped by multiple citizens from causing any damage, including 2 off-duty New York police officers who helped detain her. Per the Atlanta Journal Constitution. What's that say? Per the Atlanta Journal.
Look at this. A woman dousing a house in gasoline. And it's not just any house, it's the childhood home of civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in Atlanta. A person walking by on Thursday recorded video of the woman with a big red gas can tossing gasoline on the home. 2 men from Utah were visiting Atlanta for work, and they wanted to visit the historic site. They found Lanisha Henderson tossing gasoline on the windows. They asked her, "Hey, what are you doing?" At first, she didn't really say anything, and they actually thought when they first saw her that she might be watering plants. Then they realized she was actually holding a gas can.
I have a dream.
That's all we needed to see. But yeah, so that happened. And I think the most shocking part about this entire situation,
She was black, African American.
yes,
Well, supposedly. Maybe she was white and she just got a really bad tan. Really dark.
yeah,
Well, regardless of the situation in general, the fact is that someone, let's just just in general, someone would even attempt to do that.
I mean, we saw the video.
Did she give a statement on why she did it or anything that came out might, updated?
You know what? They might have. I think it might be in this article I was reading. Let me see. Let me go through it real quick. Oh, okay. This part's crazy. Okay. So, okay, I'll read this part. Or do you want to read it? Hello?
Let me see. Yeah, I'm right here. Sorry, Matt.
Here, I'll
The
highlight.
baby. Let me zoom in.
Okay.
All right. So I'm turning it sideways. When they realized what was going on, they started to plead with Miss Henderson to stop, but she was ignoring them. The report continued. It seemed as if to rush and pour the gasoline out faster on and around the historical house. They saw no other option but to try and apprehend her, along with the help of other bystanders in the area. They tried to get her detained. Basically, what they did was do a citizen's arrest. While trying to stop her, Henderson allegedly was trying to spark a lighter to ignite the gas on the property. In bushes, bystanders took the lighter away from her and waited for the authorities to arrive. When Henderson was detained, she was wearing black socks and no shoes. This sounds like what could possibly be a mental illness going on. Or,
That's what I
maybe
think.
she got that.
Oh, yep. That's what's confirmed. There it is. Yep.
It is?
Right here.
Okay.
There it is. Right there. If you want to read that. That's why I was thinking. Well, Mom, before you read it, that's why I was thinking too. I say it could be a mental health thing, but right there.
Oh, that's just sad. Local news station WSB TV says it spoke to Henderson's father, who related that she is a veteran going through a mental health episode. Her father told him they had been trying to find her for 2 days. So, obviously, I can't say I completely understand because I've never been through a mental health situation. But the fact of the matter is that she went to a well-known home, a historical home, and tried to light it on fire. That either says that what type of mental situation she was going through, or was it really confusion and a mental situation? Like if she has any past mental episodes or so. So I'm not saying, it's like, oh,
Well,
wanting to
that's
help.
what the article literally said. It literally said that she was going to mental health issue, and I guess she was a veteran. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you could probably speak on this better than I can. I mean, being a veteran, depending on your situation, it could probably do some things to you.
That's true. It can, but you have to think about what happened, what type of situation he had to go through in order for her to come back home and try and like the history. I mean, okay, so she's from Florida.
Yeah, but that's a
She
report I heard.
went to Georgia to like, was it intentional? Was it just situational because she
I
was
don't know.
there and then
I
something
don't know
triggered
all
her?
that. I don't know anything. All they said was, I mean, we just read it. She had she was
Oh
having
yeah,
having a mental health issue. So I mean, I get it. I mean, I don't know what she was going through to make her think that, she needs to go to the Dr. Martin Luther King's house. Like that's insane. I mean, that's insane.
she don't get no pass. Mental
Uh,
health. Some people be like mental health issues be damned. You tried to go live at Martin Luther King's house, you ain't getting no
I
pass.
I think the problem is, and I think the problem is it's not it's not the fact that she tried, it's the fact that who tried. I say, yeah, what race she was that tried to do it.
Yes,
That's
but
the
can you imagine? Just imagine if she was white and this happened.
yeah, no, yeah. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. I know this may be fucked up. I mean,
Say
I
it,
don't think it
G.
would be better, but I think I hate to say it like that, but I think I'd rather it be somebody from
Eh,
another race than ours.
no, I can understand that, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like why, and it goes in that saying, when people be like, "Be your own peoples," and it's sad.
But
I
that
do wish her.
this right here was crossing the line.
It
Like this
was.
was, yeah, this crossed line. I mean, again, I may give some things because one, they were able to stop her, and two, they said she was having a mental health issue.
I do wish her the best though, and for her to get the help that she needs,
I hope so. Yeah, I would say
or for
that.
her to even understand, like, hey, this is what you was trying to do. Do you understand that? Like, I feel like, yeah, she needs help. I wish she gets the help she needs, but I also want to know like the follow up story of that. I doubt we will get it, but I do
Yeah.
want to know like from her.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're getting to that point, then yeah, there's something really going on there because it should never get to that point at all. And so we're at that point, we're getting to that point. I mean, yeah, like she needs help because that's the only thing I could think why somebody would do it is that it has to be a mental health issue because I can't imagine any black person at all just doing that without some episode. And I'll just say this, I hate to say it, but I called it. Like when I first heard, I said I think it probably was a mental health issue. I was right. She was going through it.
Mm. Hopefully she gets the help she needs from the VA. They can step in because they have been this year they did release like some information saying that they was trying to get more people within the mental health field, especially working for them, and they'd be willing to pay for people. They're offering scholarships. They're willing to pay for people to go to school, and then I think it's a bigger incentive if you come work for them on top of that, or if you leave the company you're working for to come work for them. So that they notice it's a problem. They notice it. It's just that it's sad that a lot of veterans don't get the assistance that they need or the help they need because sometimes they get like they fall through the cracks. Sometimes it's just not enough staff, people to help. A lot of people who live in California, they know or have heard the situation about how long it takes for someone to be seen at the VA hospital. I think in Long Beach or around the area, like it takes months, and it's a large hospital.
Trust me. That I told you, I called you. I should call that name. Remember that one VA who I met? Well, you weren't there. I had to call you. But dude was crying to me, man. Like I'm like, this dude needed help. And he was just like this dude, he was this old guy, and he's like, he would tell me like he fought in a war. I just need some help. He's like, so I guess he needed medical attention. And I guess he said the only way they'll help him is that he has to go down to LA. And he's like, I have no way to get there. I have no help. And he just started busting up crying. He just said, I just need somebody to help me. Like he's like, I just need somebody to help me.
That's true. I do
And I'm
remember that
like,
story.
yeah.
Yeah, and you do. He had to make it down there. I mean, some places he might be able to like go receive treatment and they build a VA, but I mean,
But that's a problem.
that's a
It
lot of
should,
paper.
but it should never be like that.
It shouldn't, but sadly it is. And
I mean, you
at
know
least they're
what?
trying to do something right now. But
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
now
yeah.
is
If you
better
want to,
than tomorrow.
yeah. Sorry. No, I was gonna say if you could speak on that, maybe I'm informed of what's going on. Like I said, you have more knowledge on that than I do.
Not as much though, because I myself I was only going to the VA for 5 years when I
Hmm.
got back from overseas, and I don't use it anymore.
You
Well, out here in Nevada, the hospital is pretty good, and they do a good job on it. I know when I moved out here, they were still building it, and it's complete now, but there's not enough people who work there to actually assist and help. Like they do the best they can, but sometimes you gotta wait like months ahead of out before you get an appointment. Sometimes though, what they're doing right now, at least like because I have an appointment coming up um, to go see about my medical claim and everything. And that was relatively fast. That took, I got an appointment come next week or the week after the next, but it went from like, I applied back in February, March, and I'm just now getting to the point where I'm about to be seen by a doctor to go over the claims I have. And it's not a VA doctor; it's a doctor that they have outside the VA that'll report to them. And I mean, that in itself just tells you like either how busy the VA is or how packed it is, but or if they normally use outside resources in order to figure it out. But it would be nice if you can do everything in house, kind of like how Kaiser is. But right now, it's a lot of people out here suffering. I see a lot of veterans, out here who have mental issues because they're not able to live their day-to-day life if the best way that they can. They need assistance and they need help, but they don't know how to go about it. And then also, a lot of people do forget that military people, not all, but a good amount of them, they're very prideful. I mean, people are prideful in general, but you went from being within a team, doing all this stuff, and now it's like saying, I need help, to for basic things that are, basic for me and you, but are life challenging for them. And a lot of people would rather be homeless and ask for help or put themselves out there and appear vulnerable. Because sometimes some people have already went through that process and you know it's it wasn't the best outcome for them and they said never again. And then some people just look and see that and they just say they're not going to do it. So, while we might want to give assistance to some people and it'll be easier for us to help them, hey, I can help you get here, or I can do this for you, but they themselves, they just don't want to do it. I know I met one homeless veteran who chose to be homeless because he was getting his everything. He didn't believe in the idea of like living in a home when he travels. And
know?
he didn't try to live in a hotel or anything. No, he was homeless, like he was living outside, making his way, from state to state because he had money to do so. But he was just like, yeah, I don't have a home. I don't want a home. I don't see the need for having a home. It's not something that I'm interested in, like safety be damned. And man, that night was like something straight out of a hangover movie. The cops came and messed with us. Then it was like the drug addicted people that came out looking for, I'm not gonna drop any names, but looking for somebody. And apparently he and this other two homeless people, they knew who the people around that area was. And like, oh yeah, wait for him, he'll come. Then oh, dude came. They went behind the dumpster for about 20 minutes. Needless to say, what happened came out. That's the same day I found out that people actually put when they inject drugs in themselves, they inject it in between their toes, so that way they don't have the telltale signs of like drug abusers and drug users, and they can deny it. I did not know that until that day, and I'm sitting here on the stoop of a church waiting for the train tracks to open because they had closed down early that day due to them doing what they had to do, and I had no idea. So I stayed the whole entire night on the stoop because they wouldn't let me stay inside the station itself. I experienced homelessness for a day out there, and I experienced homelessness, a couple places here and there because I myself didn't want to ask for help or was too prideful to ask for help because I'm like, I can do this. I can do it, the way that I want to do it. So I understand and I know.
The main point I just want to get to is just the fact of that I hope that you're right that things are getting better for the homeless and for the VA. Like I said, I don't really know much about it, but I do know that, and from at least what I've heard from people, that a lot of our veterans aren't getting the health care that they need. And I am a big proponent on we should help our veterans only because like I don't care what your belief system is. At the end of the day, they chose to put their life and their bodies on the line for us, for people for like people that they don't even know to fight for this country. And I think it's important that our country, if people are going to have to put their lives and their bodies on the line for to keep this country safe, then it's on this country to take care of those people that are willing to do that.
That's true.
So that's just that's always been my personal belief system, So, like I said, man, I hope you're right. I hope things are getting better. I hope there is better healthcare because, like I said, I didn't like seeing a grown ass man, who was a veteran who broke down crying in front of my face. I mean, like I said, yeah, I had you on the phone, and
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't think I ever want to see that again. So, again, I hope things are getting better, and I mean that's all I can say. Like I said, you know more about the subject than you know more about the subject than I do. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man. But it is getting better. It is getting better.
yeah, I
Or
hope
as better as it could. I wish like when we say things are getting better, it's done. Like things are getting better. Poof, it's done.
yeah.
But they take their time, they take their course, but no, I really believe though, regardless of if things get better or how good they do get, you're still gonna have people that fall through the cracks because it happens even with real good systems.
Mm-hmm.
I was on Twitter, X now. I was on X, right?
Oh, dude, I
And
just want to say this before you move forward. I just want to say this. Before you even go on to that subject, I'll be honest with you. I definitely do hate the new name of Twitter X. I hate that freaking name. It's stupid.
Yes,
I really hate
I
it.
do too. It makes no sense.
It's really, really stupid.
Hey, you'll get on X. Sounds like you're talking about some X-rated stuff. You're
Right?
about to go on the X, right? Nah, we're gonna go on X later on tonight or some drugs. Man,
Well,
X was real hardcore yesterday. Did you see that? Man, she really got that X real hard, huh?
well, technically there is X stuff on X.
Oh yeah, there is.
Mm-hmm.
There definitely is. Even when you're reading stuff about the news, like in politics, you look up and you see something that's like, "Oh, what's this?" This is like, "Oh, it's not safe for work." Oh, but we're talking about politics play. Ah.
It's like
Then underneath it,
it's like Facebook and Twitter. I mean, not Facebook. Yeah, Facebook and I said we're talking about. I mean, not Twitter. X is Twitter now. It's like Facebook and Instagram right now.
it's like worse than that because I never even seen any X-rated stuff on Facebook or
Oh,
Instagram. I'm
dude,
pretty sure it was.
dude, it comes up on my Facebook all the time. I was scrolling through my, I was going through my Instagram, man, and I'd be seeing all these women like have all their stuff out. I'm like, dang, it's getting to the point where, man, we may not need porn sites anymore.
Now with Instagram, yeah, there's a couple websites that are quite show some promiscuous poses and people, but
Mm-hmm.
it's still nothing like X. All they need to do is just have a video of it. I can only imagine, like, just imagine, it's like the commercial X. Like, are you gonna be on Facebook tonight? Nah, we don't get the latest news on Facebook. I'm gonna get on X. That'll be it.
Right.
I really can't imagine that. It's like a couple of those band commercials you've seen on YouTube. I remember the one. It's two I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life that I've seen.
Uh-huh.
One of them was when this couple was in a Volkswagen and she went down and it looks like she was giving him a
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
fellatio.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that one.
And then the guy was just like, the Volkswagen is that good. And she was going to town on that knob on the car. And then the other one where it was this guy who was looking I think a lollipop in the
Uh-huh.
airport. And then it was in front of this girl and she started blushing. And then the guy, his friend who was recording it, said, "Dude, look at me." And the guy looked and he seen like something growing in her dress. And then he stopped and he got real like, oh my God, right? Shocked. And then she
Uh-huh.
whispered something in his ear. Or either she started biting his ear, I don't know. And then he was just too shocked, he didn't know what to do.
I think the one I remember was this international one where let me see if I can bring it up. Okay, so yeah, I can't find it. All right, forget it. I'll just tell you. But the one commercial I remember, it was this international one, and I forgot what it was about. I want to say it was a Viagra commercial, but basically it was this one where these this girl and this guy, they were about to do the do, and the girl winds up going to the bathroom. The dude peaks, and she basically was standing up going to the bathroom. That's the one I
How
remember.
shocked was he?
Oh, not the face. He was like, oh, like he was in pain. That crap was funny. That was like an international commercial. But I remember that because that one came out. The first time I saw it was like on a TV show back in the day. Like I said, man, I miss the old days, man.
I do. They were fine.
Yeah, it was so much. Now you can't do half the stuff without people screaming and clawing and stuff.
They took off the Carl's Jr. commercial.
Which one?
The Carl's Jr. commercial, like that. If it doesn't get all over the place, it
It
doesn't
doesn't
belong
get
in your
on your
face.
face. Yep.
They took off the Taco Bell commercial. It get on Taco
Taco
Bell.
Bell. Yep.
What else did they take away?
Oh man.
Man, they took
Uh,
away too many
do
things.
they still have the 7 Up yours?
I haven't seen that commercial.
Yeah. 7 Up yours. Up yours.
Remember
You,
the was it the Orbit commercial? Orbit
which one?
Orbit commercial with the gum where everyone had a dirty mouth.
Oh
You carpet muncher.
no! Remember the original Red Bull commercials
Wait. I don't think I remember the original. How were those?
where the dude would actually like drink Red Bull, give weed, and start messing with women and stuff.
Oh, I remember that one. I do. I remember that when I was over my grandma's house when I was watching that commercial.
Oh my god! You can never have that today.
No, no. A lot of people, my wife included, she says that, the 90s, growing up in the 90s was the best. And if you were an adult in the 90s, it was a good time too.
To me, 90s and early 2000s.
Mm,
That was
yeah.
the best time. Because today now, I mean, I'll just say it like this. I personally think part of it is like that because we don't have any more adults in the room. I mean, seriously, like I have this theory. I've said it before on this podcast, and I keep saying this, like, but basically, I would say like when it comes to, I'm included, especially when I like, just sometimes I look at things on YouTube. I'm like, man, a bunch of us are just a bunch of grown as high schoolers, and I'm including that too. Like I mean, to me, I feel like a lot of us have never really grew up.
You still live in that era.
Whatever.
Oh, the era of high school, like as if we're in high school.
Well, no, I'm just looking at the way how people are and the way people conduct themselves. Sometimes, like when I'm bored, I'll watch YouTube, and sometimes they have like beefs on there. And then, when I realize how old these people are, and I get you're gonna have issues with people, but I'm like, man, like you guys are like adults. But how I was taught, I should say, at least who I was around, was if you had a problem, you go over there and talk about it and handle it, as an adult. But I'm like, man, like I'd be listening to some of these people, I'm like, man, Some of y'all be beefing just sound like you guys are like 30-year-old men, 30, 40-year-old men, and talking like you're still in high school.
What you're saying, I believe it wasn't passed on properly to the next generation because there's some kids out here, which is one of the reasons why we're going to be moving because the neighborhood just went bad. But some kids out here, they're going around yelling and cursing and all this extra stuff, right? Talking about what they're going to do because someone took $20. Then, it's like these teenagers who should be in school, they're not in school. It's like, one thing to play hooky and everything. That's normal because we all did it. It's another thing when you're like, for some, it's like it's a group of your boys and you're just walking around the cul-de-sac and you're smoking weed around other little children, like children that are smaller than you. It's like, well, first of all, where the fuck y'all get this weed from? Second of all, why the fuck, it's like this isn't the first time you've done it. After a certain amount of times, the school calls your kid was absent today, and it's kind of like, where are the parents at? And what are the parents doing about this? Because it got to the point where within my apartment complex, where security was alerted about some situations that's been going on, and the nuisances that the kids been starting and everything, like shooting people's cars with like BB guns and whatnot, and security. This is why I'm like, what the fuck is security doing? Security's just like, yeah, you're gonna have to call the police. So what are you doing? 'Cause it seems like you're not doing shit.
This is going to probably be a multiple debate that you're going to hear on multiple podcasts. This is another one that we're starting right now. And I really can't wait for James to be here. But basically, so this is what it kind of comes down to. And this is how I see it. First things first, all of us in every generation basically says boomers fucked up. We all blame the boomers.
Mhm.
All of us blame the boomers. I haven't really haven't done a deep dive on this yet. I'm still kind of looking into it. I'm still talking to people. I'm still talking to people in different generations. I'm going to tell you right now that me and my mom currently are having beef about this because she keeps talking about us and our generation. I'm like, no, your generation fucked all of this shit up. This is the boomers' fault. The boomers screwed this up. Okay, but this is how it goes. This is basically how it goes, just to get to the point. Pretty much everybody who I talked to says boomers screwed up. All this mess, boomers basically just screwed up everything. The problem with the Gen Xers, and this is something I heard, Gen Xers, what they did and where they screwed up is that they, I may be saying it wrong, but they usurped duty. Gen Xers kind of fell in line with boomers and didn't really take over like they should, even though they inherently knew that there was something wrong. So where they should have set the rules, they didn't do that. I hate to admit it, but it fell on us. And so since we made the rules, since the millennial generation, we kind of made the rules, we kind of didn't do it correctly. And that's why James, and again, there's more to this. Again, we're going to do there's more to this. We're going to do a multi-podcast on this because we're going to need to, it's going to take a couple of episodes to get this debate. But he basically said, we were the ones who came in, and when we came in, we kind of changed everything, and we kind of set the rules. And now we have Gen Z that's kind of like the product of that, where like every generation before Gen Z, we all feel like, yeah, y'all kids pretty much are going, if you're left alone on an island, y'all are going to die. And every generation is praying that the next generation after Gen Z winds up being better, but we don't have much hope. This is Chief from the future, and I just want to say this after listening back to that statement. I just want to say that is not fully my stance on this subject. Again, this is probably going to be something that we continue in a future podcast, probably in a couple of them, but I just want to make sure to let you know, do not hold me to those words, at least not completely. I did say it. I do agree with probably some of the stuff that I said, but I'll just put it like this. This is more like a theory than my actual stance. So I'm still going through the process of processing this and trying to figure it out. But with that being said, I just want to make sure to put that out there. And yeah, let's get back to the podcast.
I feel like it'll come around eventually, a couple of generations later.
Well,
You know,
that's
it's kind of like fashion. Like, something's in now,
mm-hmm.
and then it goes away for a couple generations, a couple years, and fashion's sake, and then it comes back. It makes a
Well,
miraculous return.
I want to say that's a great comparison because the problem is unlike fashion, this is more of a society thing that can have really major consequences. Where if things go really bad, um, there is no things will go back. It will probably take decades until things go back if we're able to survive to see it.
You said decades?
It could take decades because we're talking about society.
Okay. I mean, that is true. I can see that it may take a couple of decades.
Put it like this, man. I don't know how you feel about things, but I don't feel too comfortable or confident about things at all. Yeah. Let me know when you're good.
The only people happy to be on the scale is a kid.
Say that again.
The only people happy to get on the weight scale are kids and a baby.
Yeah. I don't know what your feelings are about society, but for me, as of right now, I'm not too confident in what's going on. So,
I don't really feel that confident about what's going on. I think that society can do better. I think that, as a whole, we need to better better make different positions better for people, such as like teaching. Because I can't say what the teaching was like when we was growing up. I mean, we had teachers. I don't know if it was a lack of teachers then too, but now it's just a decrease in teachers and teaching because of how the children, which are a representation of their parents, in most cases, act and
well, hold
behave.
on, hold on. Check out the Clips channel. But there were some people on this podcast who do say that you're not even allowed to raise your children anymore. So,
I I I remember that, and I can agree with some of that, but it's you still have ways of chastising your kids, like if your idea of whooping a child, spanking them, popping them, which I agree with, might be your version of punishment. You can't necessarily do that in the state that you're in. Well, what else would you do? Timeout, physical training, physical exercise as a way of punishment. There's other ways. I do agree that, the government shouldn't be involved with like chastising because, if in order to make a child respect when they're not being respectful or respecting what they should, well, you're just gonna let it go. And then when, as they grow up or later on down the road, the people who are affected by it are upset because it's like, well, did they get no upbringing or,
hold on one
you
second.
know,
Oh, hold on one second. Hello?
yeah, I'm right here.
No, not you. Not you. Hello? No, they're on the podcast right now.
Oh yeah, y'all doing that?
Yeah, that's why I said if you're free, if you want to hop on. Shoot. What?
Man, whatever. Okay. I was like, oh yeah, y'all still doing that? I
Yeah.
thought y'all would have gave up by now.
Nope.
No, no. Flying my drone.
You're flying your drone? Damn, that sounds like fun right now.
What do you
You
say?
guys act like you're gonna be on there for like another year or something, like another 7 hours.
Nah, we'll probably be on here for like another 45 probably because I got to finish up this episode.
It's my Christmas special.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, technically, the next podcast is going to be a Christmas special.
Sounds all right.
Yeah.
But what up, Adam?
What's up, man?
Yeah, chilling.
How you been? What you doing?
Another day.
Huh?
He asked what you're doing.
Oh shit, I'm about to go eat sushi.
Oh, that sounds fun. So you're flying the drone in the show? What'd you say?
No, he asked you if you're flying the drones at the show.
Yeah.
Man, I flew a drone one time and I gave up. I flew it in my brother-in-law's dreads, and he got stuck in his hair, and I put the he so I had got a drone for Christmas, right? And I was having fun. I was flying inside the house, and I was learning the controls and everything because it was basically everything on the phone. So I flew it out the room, and I didn't know he was in the living room where he was at. So when it went out, because I can see everything on the phone. So when I flew it out the room, it just whacked him in the head, and I heard him say, "Ah!" And then it got stuck in his hair because it was still whirling around. So it got stuck in his dreads. So that was my first and only experience with a drone
Sounds pretty traumatizing.
for him.
I mean,
It was funny to
yeah,
me,
no,
but
this is my second, or it's my third drone, but the more expensive the drone you get, the easier it is to fly, and
I know I seen it was a guy who came to my the house my mom was renting out, and he had used a drone to fly over the house to get like the overhead shot, which was pretty cool. I was talking to him about it. I thought the whole process was pretty cool, right? And then the neighbors came out and they started getting mad that it was a drone being flown over the neighborhood. And I'm like, you were inside your house and you came outside your house. You weren't in the backyard. And you're upset because you were flying a drone around our house to get a shot of it. Karen. Okay.
but there's
But
always some asshole that has to talk shit about something, bro.
yeah, it is. It was just upsetting. I was like, I'm having a good time learning about this drone, and then poof, you can't be doing this. I don't give you my permission. Like, it's not your house, Karen.
No. Well, is that everything? Because you got to kill me with this conversation because I'm having to go back and forth just so you can continue this.
We're having a good time here, G.
You guys are.
Get
I ain't.
that out your mouth. What is this?
It doesn't sound like you're having a good
God
time
damn.
anymore.
It's baby duty, kid duty.
Grab some sushi real quick.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you go. Like I said, if you get free and you drive home, man, let us know, man. If we're still on here, I'm definitely come on because I definitely have. We definitely are talking about something that we would love to get your view on, but I understand you got things going on.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll for sure see.
Yeah. If not, I guess you're just. I guess you're weirdly to say you're guest starring on this episode.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You gotta have your own intro and outro song though when you're as a guest.
It's like the guy who calls in from jail to get a print on the rap song and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, where you calling from? Oh, I'm calling from the county jail. Oh, how you doing that?
It's either that or Art LeBeau. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm calling in. Little sleepy eyes. You know what I'm saying? Giving it out to little fucking, green eyes, the smoky, sleepy, dopey. All of the homies up there doing they bid. You know what I'm saying?
Anyways, you gotta kill me, man. But yeah, man, I'm gonna let you go so we can finish up this podcast. But again, if we're still on, man, definitely call in, man, because we definitely are going over something that definitely would like to get your opinion on.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna log. I'm gonna call in, and y'all motherfuckers gonna be like, so anyway, what about pets? Huh? Frogs. What do you think about frogs? Some other shit.
It's funny. It's funny because I could see a conversation going that way.
Guys, are you a toad or a frog guy? What do you think?
I'm more of a whatever doesn't give me warts type of guy.
Reptile.
Okay, wait, what am I doing? I'm gonna let you go, man. I'll talk to you when you're free, man.
All
right, man. Go on.
All right, man.
There we go. A guest calling. Hopefully he's able to come on, but there you go.
You gotta have the outro music for him, man. Don't forget that. You gotta add that with some hand claps.
All right, Adam, you make an outro right now.
All right, hold up. Hold up. Give me one moment. Let me know if you can hear the baby laughter. That'll be the outro. It didn't work how I thought it was gonna work. But you got like at least a snippet of the laughter, right?
Well, I got a sound, so we can use that.
Just multiply that by 5 with the amounts that you hear, and then I'll add some clapping in the background.
Next year we are going to be in an election year, so I wanted to take this time and just your thoughts. I mean, whether like I said, if you don't want to say what you are, that's fine. If you don't want to say who you're going to vote for, but I wanted to give it this last time because I feel like going forward, it sounds like it's going to be a lot harder to have these conversations. So I thought I'll give you a chance to say your piece because I've been wanting to have
I
this.
was a Democrat when I was 18 and younger because you pretty much are what your parents are. And then when I got my own mind, I became more Republican because I stood more and based on what a lot more of the things I stand for, but not everything. I won't say that I'm conservative, you know, super conservative. More like, I consider myself a little bit more conservative. But um, the president,
I will say this.
I
I will
don't
say
have
this.
no
Hold
words
on.
on that.
Wait, I will say this real quick. I did not know you were a Republican.
Yeah, I'm thinking myself more Republican than I do a Democrat. Nothing wrong with the Democrat Party, but seeing how like I did some research on the history and everything when I took my political class and seeing how things really are. There's like nothing wrong with the Democrat Party. I agree with some of the things that they have values in. I just don't think that, not all, but a pretty large chunk of the money that we have needs to go towards like other countries and other things, especially every time that there's a situation going on. Granted, I know that everybody needs help and it's good to get help, but at the same time, I really think that, we kind of need to have our nose in our own business instead of other.
Before you go there, I'm about to let you go, but I just want to ask one more question, and then I'm gonna let you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one more question I have for you. Are you like an actual like? Would you say you're more Republican, or would you call yourself more of a Black traditionalist?
Would you be able to explain that?
So this is something I guess I learned about in 2020, and basically, it's Black people that are only Republicans because that's what our original political party was, and they fall more in line with how Black, or they try to fall in line with how Black people were before we switched parties. Like, so they're not Republican because they're necessarily Republican. They're more Republican because they just believe we should lean like how our ancestors lean, and we should fall in line with how our ancestors were. So that's why I asked you. At least that, like I said, that's what I heard it was called. I don't know that's what it's called, but that's what I found, at least what I heard on the internet. And that's why I'm asking you: do you consider yourself a more
Hmm.
Black traditionalist, or are you just a Black Republican? Like you just agree more with Republican stance?
Well, I can understand that. And I would say that I would fall in between a little bit of both. Like
Okay.
when I did find out that we were original Republicans, the Republicans did try to help us more than the Democrats did. I felt like, what the fuck? Like where did this come from? I was never told this. I had to learn this. Do my parents even know this? But um, I would say it's a little bit of both because I do know, understand, but then again, I was in the military too, so some of my views I see are from a military view, not militaristic, but military view as a person who went overseas and seen things and got a better understanding of things from people from different countries and people from different parts of the United States and everything. So it's that's why I'm like a little bit of in between. But but I would say I became a Republican. I changed my political affiliation in 2014, 15. That's when I became a Republican. Um, right now, I consider myself more conservative than what I used to be. Maybe it's just that now that I'm older, I'm an adult, I have kids, and my values are different than it was when I was 20 with one kid or before I even had a kid. the things I did and what I want for my children and where I want the economy to go towards. Like, I do want us to focus more on our country instead of sending vast amounts of money and resources to other countries every time there's an issue, and stop fighting to send so much money off to other countries, like the situation that happened in Hawaii. Yeah, we sent money out to people, but we also sent $1 billion towards for the Ukraine, and then we sent a lot of money towards the Palestinian and the Israeli war going on, the Israel war going on,
I just
and
want to
we're still sticking our nose in that.
I just want to say
Although, oh, go ahead, G.
yeah, I just want to say what you said right there, that's one of my arguments for black reparations. So
Oh, which one? The one about us always sending money to other countries instead of
yep. Yep,
focusing on our own country?
that's one of my main arguments for black reparations. But keep going. I just wanted to put that
And
out.
then how to me it's a big issue because people are always saying that we're going to talk about the how we can help out Black America and get reparations going. That's just a political talk. It's in like we'll talk about it, but we don't really have no plans for it. I just want to get the black vote, and as soon as black people figure that out, the better and faster off we'll be. Because how many people have said that so far? And then what's really happened? Like
Yeah. Yeah,
you
but I
had the
mean,
government. What was it? The governor in California who said, more so reparations would be so like in the college fund or something. But it's like, look, it's not wrong because at least you started saying something about it. But what's wrong is assuming that one, everybody's going to be going to college. I should be able to get something due to my oh, thank you, due to my family history and the situation that my people went through, because there are people today, and everybody today pretty much still benefits off of the slavery of the African American people. And just to bring it up as a turning point in the way of trying to get black votes is wrong. And it's going to continue to be wrong. And nobody really sees that as wrong. They just see it like, well, this person's talking about it. Let's see what you're saying.
yeah.
Tired of it. I'm tired of looking up and seeing, Caucasian faces talking about the pain and the history that we had to endure and go through. And it's like, well, you can sympathize. You can sympathize. You can have an understanding based off of the history that you read and who you spoke to, but you're not really going to understand because you're not black in America and you don't have to go through the same things that we go through every day or in our life in general, or the worries we have just by going down the street or seeing the police, or going into, the bank, to cash a damn check. You don't have these same issues. So I don't understand how you're gonna sit here and tell me that, it's a problem and you understand. No, you understand that it's a problem, but you don't understand. Um, but not to get too far off the subject, you're right. And it's wrong of these people in politics, and it's just not the president because the president's just a facial feature, but it's Congress and it's the Senate, the senators. It's a whole problem. The president is just the person who's saying things to try and get a vote. It's the senators, I believe, right, who actually, no, it's not the senators. It's Congress that actually pass shit or say yes or no. Ultimately, although a president can veto it, but
Yeah.
they're really the people, and that's also another thing. We have these old majority Caucasian people in there, with their own personal beliefs and values, and while it might have been at the time they was in office and younger or trying to get in office a thing, we're in 2023 and a lot of people can't accept we're in a different area in time, and they like to remember, just like how we was reminiscing earlier about how we grew up and the things that we did and what we saw. It's pretty much the same way because it'll be it's sometimes I see things as like, okay, I can see as an argument and people need to see things through and see what else is out there, right? But then there's some things that come in and it's just like, well, how is this an issue? This should be passed, or this should be, you know, it's not something that should be fought against, maybe changed a little bit. But how you just want to say no for something that betters hundreds of thousands of people? You are already well off and rich. You don't really have to worry about this. And while you say that, you know, it's not right and we need money, well, why send all that money overseas then if we need such money? We still owe, what is it, Japan? Or I don't think it's China. I think it's Japan, right? 32, if not $38 billion. I don't know if it's more than that right now,
Well,
but
everybody owes everybody.
yeah, that's true. But I mean, we owe them specifically a lot of money, and it just keeps increasing every year. And you know, it's just going to get to a point to where, okay, you need to pay. If you can't pay, then we'll take something. A lot of, not a lot, but there's a specific company out there that, due to the funding that was given to them by Japan, they built more buses, or they built something going on in the city, and this was a couple of years ago.
I just want to say real quick. Well, you know what? Forget it. I don't even want to say
No,
it.
go ahead.
No, I don't even need to say. I'm about to just show. I'm about to just bring it up, show you right now, so you can see yourself.
100,000 million billion trillion. Oh, what did I say? 33, 34?
That's the in total debt that we owe. That's just a national debt. That's how much we owe as a country today.
100,000 per person.
Yeah.
That's basically what people's school loans are when they get out of school. Near that amount.
Right. So I mean, come on now. What is it? I think what's the Pentagon is missing. They can't account for, like, was it $60 million? I may be wrong about that.
You know what? When I hear that, you know, businesses can't account for certain money, especially with the government, that's just money that goes towards missions that they can't state. You know, that's what
Oh, okay.
I do believe that.
Okay, here it is. The Pentagon can account for 220 billion.
$220 billion.
Yes.
So they don't know what happened to $220
Oh, okay.
billion.
Hold on. No. Okay, my fault. This is one. Okay. No, this is 20. Yeah, this one. Yes. From what this says, what I'm reading right here, it says January. I'm not. Okay, this was done in January of 2023. I think they did one earlier, but I think they did one later, but this one's early as I could find. Basically, what I'm reading here, it says the Pentagon cannot account for 220 billion of gear given to contractors. Okay, so this is a better one. Okay, so this one is done in. Okay, here we go. So this is done in November 22, 2022. Pentagon fails audit, cannot account for 61% of the $3.5 trillion worth of assets.
I was like, somebody needs to be fired.
Mm-hmm. And in January 2023, it says the Pentagon cannot account for 220 billion of assets.
I was like, someone needs to go to jail.
So, and I think the Pentagon keeps failing audits. They have consistently failed the audits. So,
that sounds like a conspiracy. That sounds like embezzlement. That sounds like someone needs to be held accountable. Someone needs to go to jail. Someone should be brought up on charges. That sounds like a lot of things that they do to your average, your average Joes out here who can't even pay their fucking the IRS, and the Pentagon can't account for this much money. What's being done about it?
I don't know.
Is anyone being held accountable? How much in depth do they go into searching for these things? Is there, you know, where's their ledger that shows it?
Again, remember, what's it, $33 trillion in debt, I think it said. So.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you could start somewhere and rectify. Okay, well, here's $100,000. Here's $1 million. Here's, you know, $50,000. You know, like, just starting somewhere, because it can't just all have disappeared. It's an accumulation over time. So, you know, it's one thing to overpay your employees, but, you know, like, okay, that's a large amount of money that's disappeared, and, you know, it hasn't even made news, or it probably has made news, but where's the follow-up? I bet you that something like this is going to come about being outspoken against again when something large happens in the country, just to get the attention away from it. But yeah, who's asking these questions? What's being done? This is our government, right? They're doing such a good job.
I think last time I checked, and I may be wrong, last time I checked, and this is off the top of my head, so I could be wrong, but the last time I checked, I think right now, I think they said government, Congress as a whole. No, my fault. A 26, it's either 25 or 36% approval rate from American citizens today.
I'm pretty sure that number might have been exaggerated. Who counted those numbers? The same people that counted the money missing from the the government. Obviously, someone didn't pass their math classes when they got the degree.
Hey, man. You know what? This is what I'll say. I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to be basic. I'm not going to go into all this detail because some of the stuff I don't have on me right now. And I'm probably not going to look it up. At least not right now. These are my few general problems with the government as a whole. And this is just generally, I'm not going to go. I think I have 2, maybe 3. I'll see where this goes. First problem I would say I have is that I have no confidence in my leadership in this country right now. I don't think they're upholding our values personally. Well, okay, I said that wrong. They're not doing a good job at upholding the American values. Now, of course, just like every black person in this country, I definitely have my issues with America as a whole. But like I've always said, I don't love America for what it was. I love America for what it can be.
It can give me back the money it owes me and my people.
Yeah. Second on my list, I will say that I think our government's too old. I think they're really old to the point where they're starting to lose touch with the new generation. And I think,
Gee,
yeah.
have you seen? I forgot the guy's name, but the gentleman who just stares off into space when he starts giving his speech. How the fuck old is he?
Dude,
And
look at it in the past, what's like 2 years, we had like what? 2 senators. No, my fault, like a judge and a senator die while sitting in a high position of government.
so they died.
Yes, they died while sitting in high position of our government. And I would say the last thing I would say is that one of my big issues is I don't feel well represented. I mean, mind you, excluding the race issues, if I get rid of all the race issue and all the race issues was solved, I still, just based on what the leadership says and policy, I still don't feel like I'm well represented in this country just as an American.
I don't at all.
So
No, I don't feel represented at all by my senator, by my mayor, by my governor, by my president, my vice president, maybe, but even then, that's pushing it.
So yeah, I'm just not excited about what's going on. I'm kind of going back to when I was younger, and it's starting to be like, well, I guess the difference is I probably care more now, but more in the situation of like I'm just kind of back into like the middle, I guess, like when I was younger. Because I don't care where I look, I just see failures in every parts. So yeah, for me, I'm just not really happy with the way things are going, how regulation is done, and like I said, I don't feel well represented in this country, excluding the race issue, because that's a whole entire different topic that I'm not trying to get on right now. Which we did get on a lot of that at the beginning of this podcast. So, maybe one of these days we'll go back and do another deep dive on that conversation. But just kind of being part of politics, that's just kind of how I feel. I'm not really happy about what's going on, and I don't feel good. How do you feel about the president, and have your feelings on Trump changed at all?
Well, I don't dislike Trump. I just think that he said a lot of shit that made himself into an ass, and he went about things the wrong way. But he was a president that was pretty much like put America first and these other countries and everything second. Regardless of how much his mouth got him in trouble and how unpolitical he could be, but he's the president. And he did make some strides, but he got a lot of backlash for the shit he said. I think maybe if he was a silent president, like I'm just gonna not say shit instead of getting on Twitter or in Facebook. If I know Twitter for a fact all the damn time. Like you can't shut me up. I'm gonna say what I have to say, and you're gonna listen. No, no, I don't dislike Trump. I just think that a lot of shit that he said was viewed as racist and unfair. And when you have power, you have to play by certain rules, even if that's not who you are as a person who's trying to better everybody. It's still the fact of the matter that you're in the public eye and you have to perceive yourself to be a certain type of way. But I don't dislike Trump.
And
I
comparable
was
to
I was
Biden?
I was scared we was gonna go to war though because of the shit that he was saying. That's what I thought. But Biden, I honestly don't really know what he's done for us. To be honest with you, I haven't looked it up. I haven't heard anything really noteworthy. I was I was definitely hoping he'd do something about the um the school loans. Well, you know how that turned out. I was hoping he'd do something about reparations. We know how that turned out. I just had hopes that maybe this president might actually do some of the things that he said because he was an older gentleman. And when older, you have more wisdom and knowledge instead of falling and losing his train of thought all the damn time, which understandably happens. But if that's what happens and you know yourself, why are you putting yourself in a position where it's impacting billions of people? That's how I feel. I can't say that much though, because I don't know him as much as I should as the president. I don't really know him as a person, just what I see and hear when he does things. But I think that there's just as much as there's an age limit to start running for the presidency, there should be an age limit when you can't run for the presidency.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to agree more with age limits now, especially now that I'm seeing the results.
Hmm
You know,
Doesn't mean we're ageist or anything. It just means that if you want to be in a position of power, then maybe you should be in a position where you can remember and walk and, you know, not kind of be at the mercy of your own body.
I would say this one thing that even though I do think that there should be age limit, there's not. I hate to admit this, but and maybe because I don't look into it, but there's not too many people from our generation that's starting to gain power that I'm really impressed with yet. So that's the thing. So I'm kind of worried about when this older generation leaves and we take over, what's going to happen. I hope it's better, but
Yeah, hopefully. Because what should have happened is our generation should have been taking positions of power and they should have
well,
been
we
able to
no,
learn from the
we
past.
are technically they say that millennials, our generation is supposed to be the next big generation that's supposed to take over once the boomer goes. So like we're it's basically supposed to be the boomer generation.
I don't claim that shit at all.
Well, I mean, it's not about claiming. It's just
No, G, I am not going to be anything that's going to be considered the next boomer generation.
well, we don't really have a choice. It's just how things work out.
I do have a choice.
The only choice you have is to leave this earth.
I'm going to be 20. I'm going to be 33 forever.
Ah! Oh man, shit! And I want to be 21 forever.
I'm going to keep having kids so that way they can vote. And when I say that this is my age, I put it on a vote, and then they'll vote it into tuition. Like my dad said, he's only 33 years old. Well, who else is saying this? All 33 of us? Enough to pass this vote? I don't know. I'm just bullshitting at this point about that. But
Nah, that's cool.
imagine if someone did actually go like, well, the birth certificate says, well, this signature right here, these 55 signatures says that this is I'm not this age. I am this.
But there are people doing that right now.
Oh, it's a real shit.
I saw it. I want to say, what's it? Was it Instagram? It had to be somewhere on social media. But yeah, some people out there, like I saw a post on social media. I don't know if it's real or not, but basically they were saying like, "Oh, I'm this age forever." I'm like, "What the hell?"
Just playfully, okay, but if you take that shit seriously,
No,
I
no,
might
no,
have
no,
to
no,
worry
no.
about your
Well,
mental condition.
hold on. What I said was I don't know if it was serious or not. I'm saying
Oh,
it sounded serious. It could be trolling, but just the way, but it sounded real serious. I heard it on social media, and they're all like, "No, I'm this age forever." I'm like, "What the?" And they actually meant it.
no.